I've come to believe that the most worthy pursuits in life are the scariest. I tend to avoid the stuff that I'm most scared about and get distracted. And included in those are various pursuits, like creative projects, pulled in different directions with different ideas. And they are distractions as well as ways for me to escape the expectations of stuff that I am clearly resisting against. Things of conformity, things of egocentric mentality and behaviors and life as we know it, the lifestyles that we lead, the people who we have become. We are very much self-centered, and in the extreme forms we are egocentric and narcissistic. But we're not all of that. We know very well that we're on the opposite side of the spectrum of love and compassion and heartfelt efforts. So we balance ourselves out with everything. And we kind of take it for granted as a subtext. But it's really important to me that we bring all of this relevance of our experience to the forefront and talk about everything. Because once you lay everything out, we really, truly better understand ourselves, because we know that we are not just ourself, we are many other parts of us. And until we bring the language and the forms of understanding through design and effective communication, until we do that, we can't align ourselves to a common shared understanding that's closer to the truth that we deeply know there's a misguided wrongness, a falsity, an illusion to how we perceive things. We know that we're overworked. We know that we're stressed. We know that we don't want to be here, we want to be somewhere else. And that we're constantly in our minds and in our emotions and in ourselves. And the fleeting moments when we allow ourselves to disconnect momentarily, whether it's through practices of the body like meditation, breathwork, yoga, or older age methods, still including those aspects of spirituality, but also of mantras, of humming, of community who are able to be completely open, honest, true, authentic. Actually, like not in a shallow way, not in a half-assed way, but a open, raw, vulnerable, scared, pathetic, way of being. And then be in the company of those who allow you to have your truth, express it, show it. Because it's important to acknowledge all of our experience and give it the space it needs to understand, to come to fruition, to flourish, and then grow into something else. Because we've always got the choice to behave how we choose to behave. A lot of our actions are autonomous and conditioned. And we are very much like robots. We've been programmed to be this certain way. You look at animals and they don't have such programming. They're still completely in their body, in their senses, in a state of being that is one with nature that we have forgotten. And we forget because we've developed ourselves in such a way that we can undo, we can choose to change. It does require us to speak to what we know now and coax us through, bribe us through, like bring us through. By us, I mean humanity in general, back through practices and processes, methods that truly work, to say, hey, if you're here and you want to go there, try this and give it time and ask others how they've gone with it. What's their experience been like with breathwork, with meditation, with yoga, with exercise, with reading books, with talking to family and friends, finding new friends with deeper connections, have a relationship, have partners, have people in your life that you're able to be completely yourself with, and know that who you are there, when you are most here in the now, in the present moment, you are outside of your ego, your false self. You are your truer self. The definition of unfiltered, open-hearted being. That is the version of you that I would prefer in my life. I advocate for honesty. I advocate for transparency and authenticity. And this lifestyle that we lead, which is so constrained and restricted and confined to boxes with limitations and scary consequences outside of those, it feels like the walls are closing in and we very much have boundaries around everything. And so we clearly try and isolate, segregate, and define our lives and ourselves, our position, our acts, our roles. These are all parts that we play. We are playing the role of ourself. And when you understand in this way, truly, and also see examples in your own life when you are not like that, when you are more of your true self, and people point that out and people love you for it, because that is you, that is your love, that is your soul shining through in those moments when you are completely here and now, without any constraints, without any filters, without any need to be guarded, to be closed off, to be cold, to be calculated and controlled. You can feel the energetic shift as one moment you're with your closest friends, your best friends, your family, siblings, partner, or you're just by yourself and the doors are closed, the music's on, you have peace and tranquility, and only in that kind of space, when you're not reminded of your duties or yourself, you try and quieten the mind and just let yourself enter a flow state and let everything melt away, and you just do whatever you feel comes. That's life. That's in a state of purer being. And in that kind of central space of nothingness, in that void, when you're in the zone, that is where your awareness lies dormant, basically. It's like, it's not a dormant. Your awareness is there all the time, but in that central core where everything else is just on the periphery or melted away, dissolved in the background, that's where you connect to your awareness. It's like that awareness is aware of your ego, of your sense of self, as well as your sense of everything else. The reason I make it so specific about the self is that that's where we're trapped. That's where we're stuck. We are in the programming of what we think is the human condition now, because it is now, but it doesn't have to be if we choose it not to be. And that's where it starts getting spiritual and philosophical, and in the modern domain of manifesting in a scientifically explored quantum level, or a woo-woo buzz term, spiritual, new age, whatever you want to call it, way. However you want to define it and label it, we're talking about the same thing. From all walks of life, people are realizing and spreading, sharing the essential information that there is so much. There's so much that's going to humble us in terms of knowledge, wisdom, and truths that are going to be difficult for us to manage and work with. But that's all part of growing up. We've never stopped doing that. From the moment that we're born, we're conditioned, and then we're taught how to work through life, how to problem solve and understand better, do better, be better. We're given role models. At least I really hope so. It seems like these days the really good role models are appearing faker and faker, and we don't really know who to stand behind, because everyone is fallible. Everyone is still caught up in the games, playing these rules that society has put onto us. And many, if not all, people are aware on some level that they have concerns and they have discontentments here and there. But if they focus on what they're told to, then everything will work out fine. Look around them. Everyone's doing just fine, and we've come such a long way, and it's all great. This is the mind chatter, in my experience. And there's definitely a gap that's been opened up, a space that I've created around all of these automatic assumptions of our conditioning, and I'm letting my awareness just watch everything with a more neutral way of perceiving it. And there's so much to be learned, and there's so much to be applied. And I've done so in the ways that I know. I don't know, actually. It's just coming out of me. These voice notes, these ideations, these concepts, and the applications, and the guidance that helps connect me to wisdom beyond my comprehension, let's say. And I'm very grateful for this time of my life, because it's a transformational one. And it has been a long time coming, I feel. And it's here to stay, because that's all part of the journey to to evolve to our preference, instead of just taking what you're given and thinking, oh, it is the way it is. I'll just have to fight to survive. I'll just have to be competitive. I'll just have to stand out and walk over people. And no, I don't abide by that. I'm playing by my own rules and creating new ones. And that is coming through awareness and through deeper understandings and deeper explorations. And yeah, I've managed to express much of what I've been going through openly, because it's important to let go and express truths, stuff that you're going through, stuff that you've wanted to ask, wanted to communicate and collaborate and, have discourse over, have difficult conversations, ask sensitive, vulnerable questions. This is all critical, in my opinion, that we all do this. Do it in your own way, whatever works for you. But to come back to my original point was, I'm doing all of this through avoidance of a fearful thing on one side, which I know when I push through, when I prod at it and work with it, that's my next phase. It's like an unlocked chapter of my future is behind that scary place, is within that scary place. And that's on one side. And on the more comfortable flow state side, these are my creative expressions and a journey of exploration. And I would much rather go to the happy side. But unfortunately, the happy and fun side, that doesn't pay the bills. That doesn't pay the rent. It doesn't generate money. So then you have this scenario of the creative, the artist, struggling with a simultaneous rejection of like society's norms, wanting to do things your way, seeing the possibility that it could be done another way, and seeking ways to make that happen, all while feeling terribly shy, terribly self-conscious, and scared and excited at the same time. So that's been my typical journey when it comes to the things that matter to me the most. And so, yeah, I've been journaling, creating audios, rebranding, designing, conceptualizing. All of this stuff I've been publishing on my YouTube channel, and I haven't told anyone about it really directly. If it comes up, I might mention it. But generally, I've been resisting. This is a scary place, the self-promotion side, the approaching people and asking. That's really what it comes down to. I struggle with approaching people and asking for anything, absolutely anything. I have found a blockage there. So I'm exploring that. And the reason I mention that is because I want to find ways to help me through that. I can work through it directly by entering that scary space and pushing through and finding a new comfort in that discomfort. And so pushing back the comfort zone further, giving me more space to be present everywhere and not just within my own privacy, my own comfortable interactions. I want to be more of my open, true self without this anxious feeling, without this social discomfort. I want to feel like that all the time. But I don't. And all the times that I don't is when I'm this version who I'd rather not be. So there's that conflict there as well. And I'm going around in circles. And it's fine. I'll end by saying this. Everything is going really well. It's been very, very liberating and very cathartic and therapeutic and progressive to be doing all of this and to have created the space and the time and the importance in my life to play, to experiment, to push beyond limitations, to do the hard things. And I advocate that, all of that, for everyone. And I have found that the things I'm doing are going to change the world because they're changing my world. So why can't it affect others? So this is what I'm doing. This is my mission and my purpose, I believe. Among other things, among very personal things. But this is my project for humanity, the Resource Project. And I'm very proud of it. But yes, I very much am repeating the narrative that I am scared of this and that. And I want to get over this and find ways to not only get over this, but to get over anything else, to dissolve anything that isn't working for me, anything that's part of the story that I want to write out. Well, if an author of a story wants to write out something, they just stop writing about it. They just stop talking about it. It phases out of their story. And I think that's the mystical brilliance that's actually real, that we can do that for our own story. The story of ego, the story of self, the story of the act, the story of everything, us, you, me, I, we. And there's much more than meets the eye. So, well done me. Good job. Keep going. I don't hear that enough, and I think I would like to. Because, yeah, I have been struggling to believe the positivity and live out and experience and believe the negativity instead. And it's a constant battle. And it shouldn't even be a battle. So mindsets can be changed heavily with great influence. So I would like to influence others and for others to influence me in positive ways. And the way to do that is to connect. So here's me connecting on a broad spectrum, broadcasting things publicly in an effort to connect and help everyone be better. Good day.